Welcome to Straight from the Source with Haley Watts, and our guest today is Grandmaster Farshad Azad. And yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me at your show. This is wonderful.
Of course. I mean, we've as Action News Now, we've worked with you so much because you are not just the owner of a martial arts studio. Right. In this community, you do so much when it comes to kind of philanthropy, organizing people, getting our community to come out and help each other. Right? How did that get started for you?
You know, ever since I was a kid, I loved helping people. I helped other kids, you know, if they were in trouble. To me, it's sort of an internal DNA thing, you know, that I love helping others. I love seeing people feeling better about their own situations or about their life or about where they are going and what they need to do. As a result of that, that became a lifelong passion all the way around. In school, I volunteered, and then in college, I volunteered even more, and I helped others. And then throughout time, I started helping businesses, and I started helping people, and before you know it, multiple businesses came out of it, and it has just stayed into itself, one passion after another one, just made itself bigger and greater every time.
You know, something that someone gave me a wise piece of advice once, and it really worked when I was kind of in my own head and maybe having a little bit of a pity party, and they said, why don't you do something? Stop worrying about that problem that you can't solve. Go do something for somebody else. And it made me feel better, right? I wasn't like a hero or a philanthropist. I was just like, putting my attention on how I could be of service and help somebody else made me feel good. Does that apply to you?
It really does. You know, from one aspect, it's, you know, if you really want to feel better about yourself, get out of your own situation. The only problem we have, or maybe I should say it in another way, when we see a lot of stress in our life, when we see a lot of problems in our life, it's because we are focused on ourselves. Yeah. When we accomplish things, when you ask someone, hey, what have you accomplished in your life? It always goes about what they've done for others, what they have done for this person, what they've done for that person, what they've done for community, for their family, for their parents, whatever, right? So a lot of times what happens is that when our mind gets locked on ourselves, we start having that pity party. Yeah. And I'm not, by the way, infallible in that area. It happens to me too, but I instantly snap out of it. Yeah. Because I know exactly where my mind is going, right? Right. So, yeah, it does make you feel great. But, you know, the spirit of giving without expecting anything back, that's where it's at. Yeah. The spirit of giving and not even counting for it, because I don't want a thank you even for it. Honestly, I personally, I don't even expect that, right? So when we get to the point where, and that's what I found out in myself, that when I get into a place where I'm giving and I'm not even expecting a thank you back, I'm good, because it's all given to the stacks of my gratitude line in my own life.
Yeah, I love that. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's what we want. We want to live in a place where we feel connected to our community. That's like another thing I've noticed too, is like that sense of connection, right? When you invest your time and energy into where you live and the people there, to boosting joy and boosting access to people having a good life, it makes you feel better about your home.
Absolutely. You know, we've got to be thankful for what we have and what we don't have. Yeah. A lot of times people think about, well, I got to be grateful about what I have. Yeah, but you got to be grateful about what you also don't have. Yeah. Right now, I have 3 friends who are at Enloe Hospital, right now, for various types of reasons. And when you look at life, at any given second, something could happen and could alter our life, right? So we got to make sure that we recognize that I don't want to have a terminal illness. Right. Thank God I don't have that right now, right? Thank goodness for me to be in a place where I can think positively and get myself into a place where I could help other people and elevate myself at the same time too. Right. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, right? All the way around. So yeah, it does give back to us one way or another when we are helping other people. It does make you feel good. Yeah. And the message should always be to everyone that when you get stuck, just think about how you can help someone else. Yeah. I'll give you an example of something that happened. You know, I have a program called the Basket Brigade. I don't know if you know about this.
So
you
fun.
know about this.
Yep, Thanksgiving.
It's so much fun, right?
The relays of packing the baskets and the whole deal.
That's exactly right. And now that program has just exploded to the next level, right? I remember one time there was this family in my martial arts school. that I asked to help us out. And the father later on pulled me aside and goes, well, look, we don't even have enough funds for ourselves right now.
Yeah.
Please don't expect us to step forward and do something like that. I was like, this is why you should step forward right now.
Yeah.
Because you have that stress, and he did have some stress, some good level of stress.
Yeah.
And so after a bunch of talk and everything else, he was kind of mad at me.
Okay.
He was like, how dare you asking me to help other people where myself, I am in a place where I don't have for my own family, right? So I forced him to get in there, right? I kind of twisted his arm, so to speak, and asked him to get involved in this.
Yeah.
And he did. And after the event, and after they went and actually delivered to families, delivered food to the families and came back, he pulled me to the side and he just cried on my shoulder, giving me a hug, saying how unbelievably powerful and fulfilling that experience was, right? And he was a changed man from that position on.
Right.
And he was a very spiritual man, but until then, he really hadn't seen that part of, oh my God, when I'm in trouble, I can help other people and I feel good. That's great, right?
Right.
So yes, it does. Any kind of a community service allows us to feel better about ourselves, but also it energizes us to kind of give back more.
Yeah, I love that. What was your upbringing like? Tell me a little bit about
I was a
your
teenager.
past.
I was in a middle-class family, and I was a teenager who hated school.
Okay.
I hated school from pretty much 6th grade on because I had a really horrible teacher. And I look back right now, he still was a horrible teacher because I could look back and say, no, I was wrong, right?
Yeah.
I look back, it was just not a very good teacher. So I hated school. So as a result of that, I was behaving the way a kid would behave when they hate school.
Yeah.
So, but in another area of my life, another age, another teacher came by and just captivated me, right? And built me back up to the next level. And that's when I decided that I wanted to really take my studies really seriously, especially my higher education and generally school, period. And that's when I decided at age 13 that I want to come to United States and I wanted to study. And with the idea of that I was going to go back to my family. And so I approached my family about it and all that. And after much debate, I got approval at some point. So I've been in United States since I've been a teenager. I wanted to make sure that I have a space where I can actually express my opinion, study, understand, appreciate the world, study different ideas, feel different ideas. So that allowed me to become a better human being in the sense of respecting every opinion that is out there and understanding it and be about it in such a way that, well, let's talk about it. If my opinion is not good, let's change it.
Yeah.
So this whole sense of open-mindedness and the knowledge that goes behind it to make appropriate decisions.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on this since right now, the past week, we're going through this kind of weird time right now, ever since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, right? Which is obviously an act of violence.
Right.
We've seen people expressing opinions, and some of them are really heartbreaking opinions, right? People who didn't align with him politically, but then when it comes into the question of free speech, we're seeing people lose their jobs and all that sort of thing. I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, what are your thoughts on, as being from somewhere where when you grew up, we didn't have free speech at all, to like, where do you draw the line, right?
This is a great question. One of the reasons I came to United States was because of freedom of speech, First Amendment. I mean, that was the thing that attracted me, right?
Yeah.
At age 14, I memorized the entire United States Constitution.
Wow.
And because my dad was a judge, I had really learned a lot of his legal books and everything. And I was mesmerized by United States Constitution because it started with "We the people." Well, nothing else I had read before started with that. We the people, that means we are all in it.
Yeah.
So, yes, any kind of violent behavior towards somebody speaking their mind is outside of freedom of speech.
Right.
So, regardless of how unjust something may be, regardless of how unfair somebody may be, regardless of how different and how totally opposite somebody's opinion to us is,
Yeah.
we need to remember that we live in a country that respects other people's opinion regardless of how different it is.
Yeah.
Regardless of how evasive it is to ours or how opposite it is
Right.
to ours.
Right.
And the key is to come to agreement at some point for the betterment of humanity and for betterment of the whole country all the way around.
Yeah.
What attracted me to the United States was the First Amendment. Wasn't anything else. It wasn't the lifestyle, it wasn't the opportunity, it wasn't anything. All of those were great.
Right.
But I already had some of those things where I was.
Yeah.
I wanted that ability to express myself, and I wanted that ability to really be part of an unbelievably advanced society that allows freedom of expression and freedom of thought without you getting either shot at or killed or jailed or losing your job or anything else.
Okay.
That was already there.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
already experienced that. You
Yeah.
couldn't dare talk in at that point about anything that was against the establishment or the ruling class or the person that was in charge of the government.
Right.
But, and that's why I was like, well, I'm going to get killed over there at no time, right? So what I did, not that my opinion was different from them, but if it was going to go and become different, right?
Yeah.
So the key was, for me, the First Amendment is the key factor. And for us, again, as a nation, we need to remember one thing. We are all in the same boat.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat or this or that or whatever color, whatever persuasion or whatever, we are in the same boat. This is our country. This is where we are at. So what we need to do is come together to agree on different ways of coming together to accomplish the outcome that we all want, which is a better life for our citizens, which is a better
Yeah.
life for our families, which is a better life for each other,
Yeah.
all the way around. That lifting tide is going to rise all the boats,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And once all the boats are lifted, we all feel better, as opposed to we just go after each other for difference of opinion
Right.
in a violent manner.
Right. I've always felt that way, that most people in our community have the same goals, right? They want a safe place to raise their children or to live. They want to be able to, express what they want to express and not have somebody step on their ability to express their religion or how they want to live. Like, we just have different ideas how to get there.
That's right.
Everybody wants,
That's
for
right.
the most part,
As you climb a mountain, there are different ways to go up there.
Right.
There are different routes, there are different trails, but we all want to get on top of the mountain,
Yeah.
right? That big, beautiful, shiny city on top of the hill is not going to be there if we start pulling each other down and
Yeah.
shooting each other down.
Right.
If everybody thinks that way, we've gone back to OK Corral.
yes.
Right? And that is not the way to be
Yeah.
in a civilized society where claims to be advanced in mental attitude, in emotional attitude, in spiritual attitude, in historical attitude, in philosophical attitude, in ideological attitude,
Right.
everything, right?
Right.
So everything needs to come together. So a little teenage boy from across the world got impressed by one thing, and that is we, the people, have the right to speak what we want to say
Yeah.
without any harm, so that we could come together and decide what is the best way for us to forge a better future for our families, for ourselves.
Right. Okay, so you came here, you had that pursuit, you studied political science, but now you're a Grandmaster. How did you go from, poli-sci
To that.
Yes.
So I was already a martial artist
Oh, I
before
see.
this.
Okay.
And remember I told you I had a teacher that made me not like the school so
Yes.
much?
Oh, yes.
Well, I would do anything, that would cause trouble except school, right? So at one point, we were playing soccer, ball goes into somebody's yard, I go get the ball, and the person chases me, it's like, hey, what are you doing in my yard? Well, that person, in a funny way, became my martial art master, and that was over 50 years ago.
Okay.
So I was a martial artist already over there. So when I came over here, and then, of course, I lived in different countries, I understood one thing that is always my center, and that is my martial arts training. My martial arts training would give me that center, that mental center, that emotional center.
Okay.
And then later on, it helped me to have successful businesses. It helped me to help other businesses to become more successful. I sat on so many different boards helping those companies to get better in different ways.
Yeah.
That all became out of that. So the transition was, here's my martial arts study that whatever I like to do is that, and then here's my educational and academic studies. So how do I marry them together? Well, what was my purpose for getting into international relations, political science, public administration, and all that? Was to make the world a better place.
Okay.
And when I saw that I could do that through my martial arts, I was like, that's the way I want to go.
Okay.
I want to go this way, and I want to make an impact in my community, in the lives of children. I want to make sure that I am impacting the world at the bottom line, which is kids. Because kids become our parents later on. And I have so many parents in my martial arts school that used to be little kids, used to sit on my lap.
Right.
And they come in and they're bringing their kids to me, right?
Yeah.
And what I love about this is this, that regardless of what we do, and in my case, regardless of what I do, the game plan doesn't change.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about making this world a better place, one place at a time, one person at a time, regardless of whether it wants to be through this vehicle or that vehicle or this business or that business.
Okay, you're going to have to explain it though, because for many people who they think about martial arts, they think of, karate chop, they think of fighting,
That's
right?
right.
It's fighting, maybe self-defense or how not to fight, but it's all about personal protection would be, I think, an assumption. That's not really the philosophy at all, though.
Yeah,
right?
so you're right. So that's the way it's portrayed, right? That's the way people see it, right? Martial arts main goal, regardless of what style it is, right? They're all leaves of the same tree, regardless of their names and approaches. Martial arts philosophy is to make you a better person, just a better version of yourself. The reason we practice martial arts is for mastery. We want to become better and excellent at everything that we do. Mastery of what? Mastery of ourselves. Period. That's it.
Right.
That's it. So the goal is never to defeat another person. That's the sport angle of martial arts, and that's this big. This part of martial arts is the sport part, about the belts and stuff like that, about the trophies and all these things that you get, to say, hey, I defeated somebody else.
Right.
My martial art master used to say, well, you got lucky. Why is that? Is because you met someone that was just like you or a little bit lower.
Right.
Keep on searching for the next person that is better than you, right?
Right.
That was our standard all the time in my martial arts training. So, yes, martial arts to average people has this view of just self-defense, just physical side. That is a very important side, but that is only one side of martial arts.
Okay.
Then there is a mental, and then there's a spiritual and emotional side of martial arts. And that is the part, those are the main areas, right? The iceberg, the part that we see is the physical side, that top part is a mountain of ice, right? But the part that actually sinks the ship is 90% under the water, and that is the mental, emotional side of martial arts.
Right.
And that's the strong side. So to me, for people that are listening, maybe look at what we do, at least in my martial arts school, with this view that we are not just after the physical part. Physical part is very important. We want your health to be strong. We want you to have greater endurance, greater strength, greater flexibility, greater abilities, greater physical abilities to take a gun away from someone, to take a knife away from someone. I've taught U.S. federal marshals. I've taught law enforcement agents. I've taught military people. I've taught people to use this stuff for real, right? And that is only one part. The other part, though, without that other two parts, the mental, emotional part, all the other parts fall apart.
Yeah.
Unless, if you have just the slightest fear in our heart, our day goes like that.
Right.
Our physical abilities go like that. Our physical endurance goes like that. When you think about two people, swimming against each other in Olympics, and one wins by 1/100th of a second, it's not the skill anymore. It's that mindset. And that's what we teach in my martial arts school. That's what I do.
So it's interesting. You said something about fear, right? I was, for a very long time, very resistant to the idea of self-defense training, even locking my door sometimes, because I had this attitude of, I want to assume that I look at the world like it's a positive place, not a hostile place. I want to go about my day assuming the best in people, right?
Yeah.
And I was fearful that if I started thinking about self-defense, thinking about protecting ring cameras at the house, locking all the doors at all times, that I would start to develop a negative attitude of the world. Now, that was a fear. It turned out to not be the case. I've since changed my thinking about that, but I think that a lot of people think the way that I used to think, that they worry if they start thinking about the threats out there, that they're just going to turn into this negative person. It's possible, though, to find a balance, right, where you're prepared but not living in fear.
You always want to be prepared, Haley. You always want to be prepared. Imagine like if you're driving blind, right? You're not prepared.
Right.
Even if you're the best driver on the planet, other people are coming towards you in different ways. People are walking in front of you. People are all driving in front. You got to be prepared. Just as much as we want to be prepared in our academic life.
Right.
Just as much as we want to be prepared for our career. Just as much as we want to be prepared for our ability to have a beautiful relationship. Just as we want to be prepared for any situation health-wise in our life. We need to be prepared, and we need to make our kids prepared to deal with the threats and dangers of this world.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about self-defense, this is really important because it is a mindset that I am valuable enough to defend, and I need to be prepared so that if it should happen 1%, I am ready to go. But if I'm not prepared, now that 1% happens to be 100% and is right in front of me, no, I don't know what to do. And that's when it's very easy to fall prey,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So by being aware, you are automatically practicing what our life is about. Don't we teach our kids to learn swimming so that if they fall into the water, they'll
Right.
be able to swim,
Right.
right?
Right.
This is the same way you're teaching them preparedness. When we teach kids how to deal with fire dangers, or not to stick something into the socket if it's a tiny little kid, right?
Right.
Or a teenager not doing fentanyl.
Right.
What are we doing? We are preparing them for that scenario when somebody offers them that for free.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever, right?
Right.
So we want to be in a place where we make the best decisions for ourselves. And you can get prepared. You can learn what to do with right movement, with right thinking, with right everything. Anybody can protect themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
And the beauty of self-defense is a lot of times when we don't think we can, we can.
Right.
So if you think you can't, you must. And if you must, you can.
Right.
A simple
Right.
game, right? And self-defense is very simple. Once we learn the mechanics of following the order to protect yourself, ourselves, then it's all great.
Yeah.
Because at that point, your awareness is there, your alertness is there, you can back up a situation anytime you need to, all your elements are ready, not that you're paranoid, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
If you be paranoid, then you can't protect yourself.
Right.
But if you're ready and prepared,
Yeah.
it's like both of us be ready for this interview.
Right.
We're just prepared because we're just in the zone.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
We don't have to do too much homework.
Right.
It's right there.
Yep.
And this is the same way too. So I highly recommend for people that are not aware how to protect themselves to step it up.
Right.
If you don't step it up, you're leaving it to chance.
Yes.
And that's not something that you want to leave to chance.
Right.
One of the programs that I have, as you know, is called CAPE, Children Anti-Predator Education. We have trained thousands of people with that. Thousands of parents have learned how to protect their families and how to put, stepping stones in front of the children so that they be prepared just in case they come across a child predator, whether online or in person,
Yeah.
right? Well, what is the purpose of that? Preparing the kids and preparing the families so that they don't fall prey to a predator who is very savvy and aggressively looking for their next prey. So we need to be prepared in self-defense movement at all times.
Do you think, this is just theory here,
Yeah.
if more people, if it was more common for the average person to know how to defend themselves, do you think that crime could potentially go down because criminals wouldn't see as easy of targets everywhere they looked?
100%. Because it is it is the ability to show that I am not a victim.
Yeah.
It is the ability to show to a bad guy who is targeting you that not today, not now, not this person.
Right.
And if that's your child, and if that's yourself, that's your wife, your husband, your mom, your dad, don't you feel a little bit more calm?
Yeah.
That, okay, my family is okay, right? Because they have the tools, right?
Right.
So when you think about it, as we are more aware, there's less accidents on the road.
Yeah.
But if we leave it to chance, or we say, you know what, I'm going to drink a six-pack and I'm going to go pick up, my son, right? Well, you're playing Russian roulette.
Right.
Right? And that is the concept that we need to be all aware, at the very least ourselves, because we can't dictate what other people do, so that we will be part of that solution.
Right.
And we are part of that solution only and only when we take that seriously. And now we're ready to go.
Another thing about awareness that is something I think I learned from you, and a side effect in my life that it's had is really cool, is the awareness, okay, for a protection standpoint, put the phone away, right? In the parking lot, don't be looking at the phone when you're walking to your car because you want your eyes up. When you're out on a walk, if you see another person coming your way, make eye contact, right? Say hello. So the cool thing about that is while I started to take those steps because I wanted to stay safe,
Sure.
It's kind of cool when you put the phone down. Suddenly you're chatting with someone in the line at the grocery store. Suddenly now when I go out for a walk with my dogs, I have neighbors that we always wave and smile at each other. Right. I started it because I was like, I want you to know I see you and that if you're a threat, I'm watching you. And it turned into, God, now I've got this connection feeling, going back to that feeling of connecting with the community more, which is so important for joy. Exactly.
And look what a beautiful flower came out of that experience of, okay, I'm going to be on top of my game so that if a bad guy comes at me, I'm going to be letting them know I'm seeing you, right? But look what a beautiful thing came out of it, where now you're seeing it and addressing people around you, right? I was at I'm not going to say which shop, I was at a grocery store here in town. And just like what you're saying, I finished my shopping and I'm with my shopping cart waiting, and I noticed that there were two people in front of me on their cell phone, which is fine for whatever reason they were doing that. But I noticed that the lady in the front was short in cash.
Okay.
And she was kind of doing one of these things, right? And she was kind of getting embarrassed a little bit, an older lady, right? So these two in front of me, the two shoppers in front of me, didn't know what was going on. I did. I immediately got my credit card out of my hand and I went and put it right on that auto pay.
Yeah.
And I paid for her grocery right there. Right? She didn't expect that.
Right.
I didn't need a thank you. I just went like that and it did click and I went back in the back.
Yeah.
She didn't even know I did that.
Yeah.
Only the cashier guy knew what happened, right? And then he said, "Oh, you're okay." To her. He said, "You're okay, here's your receipt," and she left, right? She had no idea what happened there.
Right.
She thought she had enough to pay for it, right? But she didn't have enough in her debit card, right? Clearly was becoming a problem. So once that got taken care of and she left, the guy asked me, "What did you do that for?" I was like, "Look, that was the right thing to do."
Yeah.
"Did you see that she was getting embarrassed?" He said, "Yeah, but nobody does that." I was like, "I'm not nobody."
Right. And if you were looking at your phone, you wouldn't have even known.
You would have never known.
Yep.
Right? The other two people had no clue. They were like, "What are you talking about?" And they got into that, right? So awareness is the first rule of being prepared and first rule of self-defense. A lot of times people think that they need to go and learn different styles of martial arts and all that. No, you need to be aware first. 75% of self-defense is in your attitude, in the way you carry yourself, the way you look around, the way you make eye contact.
Yeah.
The good work that you're doing, the way you carry yourself, the way you project that not today, not me, not now, not ever, right? When you're looking that way, bad guys don't look for that. Bad guys look for vulnerability.
Right.
They look to see if they can bully you, they could challenge you, right?
Yeah.
You know about this, and I'm not going to name the person, but we had a situation in town where one woman got assaulted, right? She was sleeping in her apartment upstairs of a apartment complex. 2 o'clock in the morning, she wakes up to go in the kitchen to pick up something here in Chico, and she finds somebody standing on the side of the refrigerator hiding a man, right? kind of sounds like a nightmare story, actually, when you think about it. 2 o'clock in the morning, turn on the light, you're trying to get water, and there's a guy behind the fridge hiding, right? So this situation went all crazy for the next 15 minutes in that household, right? And that woman used to be a little kid that I taught here at a school, over here at an elementary school, 2 lessons with me. At the moment where she's being choked and she's losing air and consciousness, she's the one who says, I immediately remembered Grandmaster's face in my face, and I did this technique that he taught me at 8th grade. Now she's a fully grown woman.
Yeah.
And she got the guy knocked out, and things changed.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So if she didn't have that in her mind, if she didn't have that little tool, like a screwdriver, right? In her mind, that hammer in her mind, she couldn't use it.
Right.
And because she had that tool, she used it so well, and she got herself to safety, and thank God she's in a good shape right now. And now she's a outspoken person about that whole scenario, right?
Let's talk more about tools. Because there are the tools that come from within yourself, right? Your knowledge of how to defend yourself, how to break if somebody grabs you a certain way. Some people carry pepper spray with them. Some people get their CCW permits and they're armed. There are all different levels of ways that people can protect themselves. Can you tell me your thoughts on some of the pros and cons of taking it to the next level besides just your own body?
For sure, for sure. It's always great to have an equalizer around. It's okay. This water bottle could be an equalizer. And when I say equalizer, that means if somebody's coming in with greater force than me, than I have, I could use whatever around me to protect myself, right? Whether it wants to be a pepper spray, whether it wants to be a taser, whether it wants to be a gun, whatever it is, that's a good thing. But the bad side of it is that it could be used against you.
Okay.
So if you can rely, number one, on your own presence of mind, right? Which we train you for that, by the way.
Yeah.
Unless you have the right training for that, it doesn't happen just because you cognitively know. You need to internalize this thing, right? We have a mental mastery, emotional mastery, and then physical mastery. Physical mastery is the highest level of mastery. So when we can execute the technique, the move, and we could access that information in our mind, in our heart, that means balance out the fear, understand that now it's the warrior spirit that needs to come on out, and now access the right movement. Now you can protect yourself in so many different ways, right? So if I can rely on this, then everything else is available.
Yeah.
Then I can protect myself. And the first rule of protecting yourself is to de-escalate. The first rule is to distance yourself and de-escalate. And then from there, and how do you do it? Come to our seminars, we'll teach you that. But just distance yourself as best as you can, right? Get yourself away from trouble. If trouble is over there, you go the other way, right?
Right.
But there's more to it than just that simplicity, that simple talk. So the main thing is to get yourself into a place where you're present, you are prepared, then everything else is a weapon.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, how often do we carry our CCW with us? How often is my pepper in my hand like that, right? How often is that the scenario, right?
It won't always be. For everybody, there's going to be a time when you're just on your own.
Exactly, like this example that I just gave about the story of this young lady attacked 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right, she doesn't know. She's not going to take pepper spray to the kitchen to get a glass of water.
There's nothing like that in her mind. So what did she have to go to was what is going on inside of her, what she has. How did she prepare, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about it, in life, we always get recognized for what we do publicly. We get recognized for what we do privately, right? So in a way, what we do, how many times we go and take care of our body in the right way? How many times we go to the dojo and practice? Or how many times do we get our mind into a place where it's calibrated and balanced and ready for whatever, right? Not just self-defense, but for opportunities in life.
Yeah.
Right? Because self-defense, I mean, how often, thank goodness that you and I, we don't have to protect ourselves physically daily.
Right.
Right?
Right.
In some places, maybe that's the case.
Yeah.
But in our case, it is not the case in Chico, right? In this area. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that all of this transfers into one thing: success in life.
Yeah.
Success in school for kids, success in life for the parents, for adults, success in our community so that everybody would be happier and healthier. People high-five each other as opposed to people spit on each other.
Right.
You know, people take care of one another in such a way that is mindful and real and impactful, as opposed to thinking that, no, we all have to walk around with guards against each other. That is really not the best way to be. That's more agitation. That's more escalation. We want to bring it down until there is a need.
Yeah.
And when there is a need, we got to be able to deliver, right?
Right.
With our body, with our mind, with our emotion, with our physical skills that we have.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so for you, we talked about how you got into martial arts. We talked about why you came to this country. But Chico, you've been here for how long now?
I've been here since 1985.
That's the year I was born.
Perfect. An amazing year.
So amazing year. For you, what has kept you here? What do you love about this particular community? It's kind of a random place to find here in Northern California.
That's true. So I was a student in Midwest in college, and I wanted to come toward Western United States, and I found Chico, California.
Okay.
And those days you had to look in catalogs to find things. There were no internet. There was no internet. So I found Chico to be a small town where a poor student could survive and get a good education. So I came to Chico State. I'm a Wildcat at heart, all the way.
Yeah, go Wildcats.
That's right, go Wildcats. And then I stayed over here in town. I opened up business, and I left for a little while for higher education to Arizona, and then I came back again. And Chico is a wonderful community.
Yeah.
I love Chico. It's a small, caring town with people who have the best of intentions. We have some of the most given people that I've ever seen here in this town. We have some of the best businesses that are just so community-minded in this town.
Yeah.
We have so many people in this town that just mean to make this world a better place. And I don't want to be living anywhere else.
Yeah.
If this is what we got, I like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Me too.
And it's relatively a very safe community. It's relatively a wonderful community in every aspect of financial and career life and all that. And yeah, I enjoy being here. So that's why.
You
Chico.
spend a ton of your time doing things for other people, teaching, running a business. You do private lessons. You travel. You have family that you go see. When you have some time that's just free and yours, do you spend it with people? Does that charge you up, or do you ever take time that's just off?
I have both.
Okay.
I have both. So I have a me time.
Yes.
Where it's just me time,
Yeah.
right? And that's the time where I recharge. That's the time that I recharge mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all the way around. I got to kind of get this battery and kind of plug it back into the wall, right?
Supercharged, real
Supercharged.
fast.
Supercharged fast because the time is of essence. So that's my time. It's a short time every day. That is my time. But the rest of the time, no, I like to spend time with friends, with people that I care for, and have a quality time. But the rest of the time, I got to tell you, Haley, are you ready for this?
Yes.
I haven't worked a day in my life. Every day is a play day, right?
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm here talking to you right now.
This is what I get to do for work, too.
I know, isn't it unbelievable?
Have a great
this is such a
conversation.
privilege, right? For me.
is.
For me, it's such a privilege. It's such an honor. And yet at the same time, it is such an opportunity for us as people to be connected to one another, right? So when I teach my, let's say, classes at my martial arts school, or if I see my team teaching, nothing makes me happier than seeing a child or seeing a student, adult, kids, doesn't matter. My oldest student was passed away at 109. She joined me at 101, right? So it doesn't matter. They're all kids. I call them all my kids, right? So regardless of that, nothing makes me happier than seeing my students grow and become better.
Yeah.
Become a better version of themselves. That is my mission in life all the way around, to wherever I go, whatever I do, whatever I touch, to make it better. And that's why my business development program is just booming like crazy.
Yeah.
That's why my martial arts school is doing well. That's why the things that I get involved with, I'm committed to, because it's a passion for me. It's not just another thing on the resume. I don't care about that at all. Right? So I spend my time to recharge me so that I could recharge everybody else around me.
Do you have any, let's see, I guess you call it like a guilty pleasure, but just for fun sort of things. Because, I mean, we talk so much about all these ways to improve spiritually, mentally, physically. But, I mean, sometimes you've got to have a Reese's peanut butter cup and just watch a, crappy movie.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Ice cream is my downside. I love ice cream. Now, I got to tell you, I even put a little limit on that one. Otherwise, a bucket of ice cream and I cannot be trusted at all at any given point. It will be gone. But then I know that the next day I'm going to be doing 5 miles of whatever, because I got to burn it, right?
Yeah.
You got to enjoy life. Life
Totally.
is not all about strict rules and everything else, right?
Right.
When you enjoy your life, then the discipline of life becomes so easy to manage.
Right.
Because the discipline of life is something that keeps us on the best path for ourselves, whatever that may be, right?
Yeah.
But yet at the same time, you know that deep inside you're in a satisfied and fulfilled place.
Yeah.
It's one thing, success is about satisfaction, right? You become satisfied when we succeed. But fulfillment comes in from what we give and get.
Yeah.
And it got to be together. That success and fulfillment got to be together.
Yeah.
And yes, ice cream, my downfall. Now you know.
You've advised
And everybody else knows.
You advised me before, because I have a tendency to be a pretty structured, rigid person, and you gave me some advice about being able to bend and not break, right?
Right.
And I try to keep that in mind. But one thing I will say, for those of you out there who are very structured, that I've found is if I structure in the fun, then that way it's always there. Like whatever it is, this is what I want to get done today, but from 3 to 5, I'm going to find some spontaneous fun thing to do.
Right.
My afternoon is going to be free to explore, or I don't care, I'm going to eat healthy all day, but I'm going to have that ice cream after dinner, right?
That's
Every
right.
day, you got to have a place for the ice cream.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I love the idea
Micro
of balance.
vacations during the day
Yeah.
creates a balance in your daily life. Now, notice that I said micro vacations, right? Not massive vacations.
Right.
Some people like to indulge, in those vacation modes.
Yeah.
Well, when you indulge in your vacation mode, then the rest of your day is kind of up and down all the way. So it is really important to remember that, just like your maybe kitchen floor, you have tiles and then you have grout. The grout should be those fun stuff.
Right.
Right? We call it the M&M factor. I call it in my school the trail mix factor.
Okay.
You want most of your trail mix to be of good stuff.
Yeah, the nuts,
nuts
the
and
fruits,
berries
almonds,
and fruit. That's
yeah.
right. All the good stuff, nutritious stuff,
Yeah.
right? But every now and then an M&M is a good idea,
Totally,
in there, right?
yeah.
It's a must, as a matter of fact, in my book.
Yeah, if I put trail mix in my pantry, those M&Ms disappear.
They will go first. Yes. That's right.
All that's left is raisins.
There you go.
But no, yeah.
Shriveled grape. So the key is to make sure that we keep our life in balance, right? Even in exercise, right? In exercise, in reading, in thinking, in reflecting, in meditating, in being in places where we can think about what is the next level of my expectation in my life, right? Wherever you may be in your life, think about what is your next level. What is one thing that you could do to make yourself better today? What is one thing you could do in the next hour that could make you better? Is it more in the line of attitudinal qualities like respect and trust and resilience and whatever else, determination and focus and ability to be present-minded or anything like that? Or is it physical? Can you just get up, and maybe in between, maybe in lunch break, right? Maybe you could walk straight up to somewhere and come back and have a lighter lunch, right? So creating those micro vacation, micro fun things in your life, there would be the M&Ms of your life. I hope you like M&Ms out there. The M&Ms of your life, so that you wouldn't just be looking at something nutritious that way or something so rigid and disciplined that way, because then that could make you bored. That could make you feel a little bit stuck. That could make you actually deflate your energy. And everything in my life is about increasing energy.
Okay.
When we look at the world around us, nobody with low energy has accomplished anything. It's always been people with high energy, even though they didn't have maybe physical skills. People that were blind, they did some crazy stuff that the world is a better place as a result of it. People that were elderly did some things that changed the world just by their tenacity, right? By the resilience, right? we can do anything at any given point of life. Only and only if we remember that we got to keep it in balance. We are human beings, and human beings need the balance of oxygen and other elements in life to make sure that we are healthy. Enough resilience in our life is created only when we are in a state of balance, when we are in a state of calm, but yet in a state of fun, and this way we could not only energize ourselves, but we energize everybody else.
Okay, Brian is telling me in my ear it's time to start wrapping it up, but I can't until I ask you one last
Brian,
question.
what are you doing out there?
One last question is for you. What's your next level?
Oh, that's really a good question. So my next level is always a higher level of expectation in things, right? So I always expect higher things from myself. My standard is always kind of getting pushed up a little bit more. So this year I have multiple goals, but one of those goals is to make sure that I give even more to my community through these businesses and different things that I have, so that not only they thrive in their form that they are, but also they go into a place where the impact is felt in higher level everywhere, right? And as a result of that, or maybe to cause that, I have to step it up. I have to step up to be sharper. I have to be stepping up to be a little bit more mindful, to be more balanced, to be healthier, to be a little bit more of an inspirational person to myself, so that I can propel me to the next level that I need to go.
Okay.
Thank you. This has been an amazing opportunity.
Thank you so much.
It's an absolute privilege to know you and to be here, to teach you, to be on your side every step of the way. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you too.
Awesome.
All right.
And Brian, time to go home.
Thanks for listening today. I decided to offer this podcast after enough of you let me know that you wanted a deeper dive into certain stories than you get on our TV broadcasts. We elect certain people to represent our voice, but who are they really? My hope is that this podcast answers that question. I love your feedback, and I want to know who you'd like to hear from next. Just fill out that comment section and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify.